All right, let's do this. Let's do this. The last episode, season 14, episode 14, Real Housewives of New York. Have you been enjoying the season? In the comments, if you can, go ahead and write down your favorite moments from the season and also which cast members spoke to you. For me personally, we love Jenna, the nonchalant, unbothered. I don't want to be in the drama. Boss is always fun to watch. Uba was fun. She was Uba hot when she had to bring the heat. She did. Jessel, oh, that darling Jessel, when on episode 1 she said, "Look, kids, it's a stoop. It's a stoop. It's a Brooklyn stoop." The Mary Poppins, chaotic energy, sweet. Oh, I just love Jessel so much. And I will tell you, Brynn and Sai are okay. And I actually have a really redeeming thing I want to say about Sai as we talk here. But people have their views on Aaron, and I think Aaron overall, throughout the season, is a little bit of a delight. Okay, that's what I think. Now, question. Let's talk about it. Do you think that I have my little bias for Aaron because of moments like this?
Yeah, like it's nothing for us to beef about.
Okay.
Like,
Here's Ronnie, also from LA, with a question for Aaron.
hi.
What's up, Andy? Candy, you are worldwide. Just letting everybody know.
Yeah, she
Aaron,
knows.
I got a quick question. Quick question for Aaron. Loving the season. Why do you think Brynn said on Watch What Happens Live that you couldn't be trusted? And where do you stand with her today?
I think she said that because of Cheesegate, because she felt like I was being disingenuous about the conversation, which I wasn't. It will all play out. We love each other, but we butt heads. And
All right.
it happens over and over again.
Thank you, virtual fans. Are you gratified by the response? Of course.
I
we all are.
am shocked.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like
am too.
overwhelmed with gratitude,
Yeah.
really.
Yes.
Just wait. No, I'm just kidding.
Of course, that was the early on Real Housewives of New York. I think the first episode they did, the entire cast was there to sort of celebrate premiere episode 1. And episode 2 was Aaron in the Watch What Happens Live seat along with Candy and Andy. And I was the virtual caller. So yeah, to me, Aaron. Okay, and listen, here's the other thing. Aaron and Abe as a couple, I like a really well, you you've heard me talk about this quite a bit. I like that, not to do any comparisons by any means, but I like that whole like Joe and Melissa Gorga, like they've got a nice little appetite of romance within each other. I like that. Abe and Aaron kind of have that same thing. There's a couple other couples. I don't know why they're not coming to mind right now, but you like to see it. You know what I mean? Like, as much as you are a parent and a businesswoman and slash all these things, it's good to see the time that Aaron has carved out throughout the season with Abe. You know, he's also fun to watch, as is Sai and David. You know, nobody goes without faults. Of course, not everyone is perfect, but, you know, I generally think it was a pretty good cast, and I feel like everybody was a little bit fun to watch, is kind of what I think. Anyway, our initial season finale opener here is like Aaron and Uba sort of catching up, which is a nice little thing. They make little jokes about it's good that we can continue and be friends, at this stage. Obviously, Anguilla, the vacation, things did not go the way that anyone would have wanted it to be seen. And, it's nice to see that the ladies can kind of get over these these certain moments. I like seeing them get along. And the thing about when they get along, the first bit of conversation now shifts to, oh, but what about this? Did you hear about this? Sometimes when you're watching these shows, it is a little bit of like, let's get together and talk about what just happened. Let's get together and talk about, oh, I heard from this person, this happened, and let's say it at the party coming up. It just gets a little predictable in that way sometimes. Nonetheless, they're talking about the dinner. This was, of course, the dinner at Swingers, where Sai and Jessel kind of were over each other, I will say moving forward, because I want to do a quicker recap. I say that every episode, and then what are you going to do? Brynn and Sai at Central Park honoring her grandmother. Now, I think this is really good, and I think for me personally, I'm going to be very like emotional, I guess, because it is a beautiful thing to see. In whatever way your relationships are broken up in terms of within your family structure and all the things that people have went through. Brynn was closest to the grandmother. I think it's Mimi versus being close to maybe her other people in her family. I just think these moments are really special. And then not to bring too much into this or whatnot, but like even recently I got a chance to do something with family, relatives, and there was a certain memorial. And so it is really good to see. And so I couldn't watch Brynn talking about her grandmother or Sai talking about, her mom and what they're going to plan to do for her mom at their place upstate. I couldn't like not feel completely warm-hearted for the two of them because it is not easy. And while Brynn and Sai were maybe the most difficult in terms of by the season, I think all four that I mentioned earlier, Jenna, amazing. Jessel, amazing. Uba, amazing. Aaron, amazing. Sai and Brynn were the two that were the hardest to enjoy. I think Brynn sort of finally turned it down towards the end. I think she finally found her lane. And Sai, I'll just get to what I was going to say about Sai. With Sai, the thing about it is we could judge her all we want, but there is a level of she was consistent. I said last week's episode, she's the, what is her tagline? She's the most rotten little apple in the entire bunch or something like that. And she has been true to that. She's been true to, I don't care. And it's tough to be like, I don't care when you still have something to say every 5 seconds. But I also want to give Sai a little bit of credibility that she probably will bounce back really nicely for season 2. I'm really interested to see her at the reunion. I usually don't love reunions to the degree that everyone does. I mean, I like them, but I don't need like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. Even when recapping Real Housewives of Miami last season, I usually wait for all of the reunions and then I recap at the very end, like the full season. But I think Sai would be an interesting one because I want to see how and if she was affected by the show. As tough as you want to be, like nobody enjoyed her for the most part. It was a really big deal. Like no one really enjoyed Sai, but maybe she actually does not care. It's always hard to tell, when people say like, I don't care. And after a while, people really rip you to shreds and it's a tough show to do. And hopefully she does have the grace and is totally fine with the portrayal that she had. And really, if you really break it down, 2 things. Sai was necessary. Yes, she picked on Jessel. I don't think she was a mean girl, but she did pick on Jessel and she picked on everything. I mean, because there's no food in a certain place, like you go get it yourself, kind of a thing. Even if the person is hosting, like she was a little bit much, but this is a TV show and I'm not asking anyone to be fake on a TV show, but it is a TV show no less. And it was important for her to show up. And Sai definitely showed up. So we will give that. We'll move on to the next topic, but a topic that I always really, really, really enjoy is myself. And I'm also going to talk about a tequila shot, Watch What Happens Live, and Reba McEntire and how that all came together. But before that, we'll go to this. This is just how you could support the channel as we are talking about Real Housewives of New York and also recapped all of Jersey, all of Miami, and now, these 14 episodes of the new New York, which didn't have the greatest of ratings. So it was very difficult to always show up. And since I did, and I tried my best to do a good job, I got to let you know how you could help out. Anyways, cue my friend Mark. Here we go.
Well, hello there. Thank you for watching and supporting the show with my good friend, Randomly Ronnie Jr. Who the hell am I? Great question. My name is Mark Rodriguez with Mastermind Media, and I wanted to take just a moment of your time to let you know about all the other incredible things this guy, Randomly Ronnie Jr. has going on. But first, before we get into that, please comment, like, and subscribe. That is how he grows here on these channels. But one channel you probably don't know about is patreon.com/randomly Ronnie Jr., where he's got a bunch more exclusive content. So please check that out. But speaking of YouTube, let's go back to YouTube for a second. He's got this hashtag randomly with Ronnie Jr. and it shows all of his stuff in his days in radio from back in the day, all the way up to present day, and his new interviews, podcasts, just videos across the board. So please check that out because when you think about content creators, there's millions of content creators, but there's only one, randomly, Ronnie Jr. Let's get back into the show.
All right, I'll take it. Yes, only one. Hashtag randomly with Ronnie Jr. trying to do my thing. Have an opinion all the time. Yes, I know that. I don't know. I love myself. Like, what's the problem? No. We'll do the Watch What Happens Live Reba McEntire shot glass moment in a second. First, I want to say, let's keep going with the episode here. That darling Jessel, that darling Jessel. She's got her sexy phlegm in the vein of Phoebe Buffay from Friends. So she's got that raspy voice, which is great because in the episode, it's like, well, I'm going to tell, they haven't seen me mad. So it's like it all works out in terms of Jessel sort of running to, kind of hitting a wall in terms of like, I'm just tired of Sai. I'm just tired of Aaron. I'm tired of these cackling hags. I'm tired of these, the pet parrot, all of that. So it's fun to watch because I don't know where and how she did get her sexy phlegm voice, but that's what she's giving this episode. And then she had the nerve, but we love to hear it. She said, no, Uba, no. I don't just have this voice from sucking the D. Which makes you laugh. I mean, maybe have we had these conversations before? Yes, we have. So Jessel is just showing up as a mirror image of some of the conversations we have already had. Anyway, what I will say about Jessel's event is not event, but the photo shoot, how beautiful and how amazing. And, the reshifting and what Bravo is trying to do, I can't speak firsthand on what they're trying to do, but it does seem like they're trying to make a different kind of show. The way like the Real Housewives of New Jersey, it's just it's compelling, but it was so toxic. Or Jen Shah, what she went through, the toxicity that went on with that, or Erica Jane's ex-husband and all of those things. It feels like they're trying to do a different show. And I always felt like I was a little bit in the I didn't really have a lot of people who agreed with me on this, which was, I want to see the ladies pounding the pavement. I want to see them building their businesses. Now, I don't want to say that you go on this show, you sort of like hide a bunch of stuff about yourself and you just benefit from it. Like, this is a reality show. You still have to bring something to the table. But I think that there was a point where the way the shows were being edited, like all of the good stuff would be taken out. Some of it is because of time and storyline, so I get that, and let's not make it a thing. But like, even as an example, because sometimes it is really just that. Sometimes it is not personal. That's what all people who are pursuing or entertaining this type of craft, this type of art, communications, broadcast, being on reality TV, being a television host, being even an actor, like you're sometimes just a puzzle piece in a puzzle, and it is not really about you. But with that being said, let's think about like Kenya Moore on the Real Housewives of Atlanta and how she wasn't necessarily, I think they did a flashback, but she had a really big event for her, the new product, or was it a salon that she was opening, and it didn't make the cut. But a lot of times, I don't know that that's always personal. Anyways, talk amongst yourself whether you think it is or isn't. What I'm going to say is I like that we're seeing so much more of the business acumen on top of the fun reality stuff. Like I said, in one scene, you get the lavish, amazing photo shoot, Jenna Lyons stepping in. Jenna, who Jessel said, I would love her as my creative director, but I could never afford her. So the fact that she's going to come in and say, ooh, try this different, tweak that. I love all of that. I watched every single episode, didn't miss one of both Bethany Frankel's HBO show and Jenna Lyons' HBO show. And there's something about like the process of what it is that you're trying to accomplish. That's a beautiful thing. I don't know why there's not enough reality TVs that showcase that. So for Jessel to give us, hey, Uba, yeah, I know my voice is raspy, but it's not because I was sucking the D. Like, to get the fun stuff, the goofy stuff, the stuff that is like charming and makes us laugh a little bit and cackle, if you will. I think we should also get like what they are pursuing, you know what I mean? And I don't know, where this is going to go for Jessel, but it's a really wonderful product line that she's working on. And what a fantastic thing to be there right there in Jenna's loft and just really be in the vibe, like catch the vibe. Because the thing is, energy is so important. And this is like such a big moment for Jessel. She had a fantastic season. Not every cast member will have a fantastic season. For all we know, see, everyone wants to write Sai off. For all we know, Sai's next season could be the one that we all fall in love with Sai, because I don't think she didn't have redeeming qualities. I do think she did. Next season could be Erin, could be the one that we all love. I mean, I love her this season already, but it just changes all the time. But while you're up and Jessel is up, she should be doing these amazing things. She looks so beautiful. Even at the end of the episode, she didn't necessarily, and I'll get to the later part of the episode, she didn't necessarily do what Brynn kept saying, which was like, come back at them. But she did like kindly dismiss them, and she was stern, and she was about her business. And it was really, really wonderful. So I would love to see what happens with this show and how Jessel went from, what was it, 5 months ago? We didn't know 4 months ago. We didn't really know anything about her life or her aspiring career. And now we're just like on this journey. Let me play a clip real quick, and then I will tell you the next portion of the episode as we get ready for Brynn's masquerade party. So watch what happens live. I was telling you, Erin was at the beginning. She was the first guest, the first solo, because again, each of the cast members all showed up for the first episode, the premiere. Erin was the first, to have a solo episode. You kind of thought she was like the big star of the show. It was a tough summer for her in terms of the filming. It was a tough season for her. Yes, it was. So luckily, like I said, I played a clip a bit ago of me getting to talk to Erin and Candy and Andy on Watch What Happens Live. That was early on in the season, but I would not be the amazing Randomly with Ronnie Jr. without also taking a shot with an icon, somebody with career longevity. And this is a little bit how it went. Live tequila shots. And honestly, I'm so proud of myself.
See you in Vegas, y'all. Hey, let's go to the fans. Ronnie from Los Angeles has a question for Reba McEntire. Ronnie, what's your question?
Andy and Troy, I got love for you, but I cannot believe I am sitting here with Reba McEntire. I got to take a shot before I do anything.
All right. Nice. Wow. Doing a shot. What's your question?
Reba, even though you were previously appearing on The Voice as a mentor, did you get any advice from Kelly Clarkson on how to be a judge?
No, I didn't get any advice, but she told me I was going to have a blast. That was the best job, one of the best jobs she's ever had. She said, you're going to have a blast with everyone, and she is so right.
That's great. Let's go to Hillary and Jordan from Columbus with a question for Troy.
Hey.
hey. That was fun, right? Going back to, we love a Watch What Happens Live moment, a virtual caller moment. Thank you very much. Let's get back into one more thing that sort of became something that got ramped up within the episode. And that was Uba, because Uba also came to Jessel's photo shoot, which I thought was a really good use of your friends. You've got Jenna Lyons, this creative director, a wonderful, premium location. And then you got Uba, who is a model who could lend, her expertise as well. And again, I already said, I really enjoyed how it was all put together. Anyways, Uba comes and shows up. She does not have access to an elevator. So she's in her heels going up and down these stairs, up and down the stairs, which was, of course, a really wonderful comical moment. But then, and here's a question for, let's talk amongst ourselves here. What do we think about that? So the criticism that they were, talking about was that the other ladies had said, oh, it was interesting that Pavitt, when asked what makes the perfect union or wife or what, well, first of all, I don't think any of the men really stepped up. Like, I feel like a lot of it was very much self-involved, and not like a selfish way, but like it was all about them. And maybe that was just edited in a certain way, but it wasn't really like, oh, my wife's Sai, she's, warm and a great mother and beautiful. And they said similar and certain things like that. It wasn't like Abe was, Erin, and when I first struck my eyes to her, I was drawn like a moth to a flame. It was a lot of like, my wife is really wonderful and we are codependent. Is kind of, if we had to be critical, like they weren't as good of bits of commentary as we would have expected, right? And I only say that I'm not knocking David to Sai because he did say some beautiful things to her, and Abe to Aaron because he did say some beautiful things to her also. I'm not knocking it, but I'm saying it wasn't like they were so phenomenal. Sorry, I gotta check the old phone here. It wasn't always got to see when I'm booked and busy, baby. It wasn't like they were so wonderful in what they said, and Pavitt was like, she lets me do whatever, I run over her, because you know what? Here's the thing. I think Jessel runs the tightest of ships. I mean, I think they all do, but like Jessel and Pavitt's relationship is so funny. So for everyone to have this conversation that was going around the circle, like, oh yeah, you know, they're talking about you, Jessel. They're saying that they thought what Pavitt said was not really complimentary to you. It's like, I don't really think any of the men said anything that magical, or am I wrong? I could have watched it differently. Anyways, let me get to the question and the lecture at hand. My thing is, I don't really ever try to get in anyone's relationship because I do think they are all different. Some have like, some are open, okay? Some have developed in very interesting times, okay? And so I really feel like you got to let everyone do what works for them. Now, it would be different if, I'm trying to think here. It would be different if like Jessel was coming to the group and saying, oh my gosh, and this, and he's not making me feel special, and we're having this problem. I mean, she said we're not having sex, but she didn't say it was like a problem for them. They were like good, and they would figure it out. They were okay. She was being vulnerable. She shared, and it was like something that they turned against her. So I think unless this is just how I try to operate, and I'm going to move on because I'm over here just yipping and yapping, and I said I was going to talk very quickly and be done with the episode, and already, it happens every episode. The curse of being amazing, you know what I mean? I'm so good, so good and so experienced. Have I shown you how wonderful I am? Look at, he has been working. Oh my gosh, what a career! I tell you, that randomly Ronnie Jr. Everybody loves him. Everybody loves him. No, I don't know if everyone loves him. But let's really get into that. So with Jessel and Pavitt, I feel like unless Jessel's coming to the group saying, he's not wearing his wedding ring and we're not having sex, I'm worried. She's never let on any worry. She's shared and she's been vulnerable, but she's never came to them with like, oh, this is a problem. So I think you have to let them be. And I don't know how much they remember of this, but if you remember from the beginning, she said, did she say this to the confessional? Maybe she said this just to the confessional. We have been friends prior. We weren't even really interested in a relationship on that level. That's not what we were going for. But sometimes when friends, are so good together, the sparks do fly. And I think it was like her mom or something that recommended, like, I don't know, you guys might really work together. And so I think when that happens, and that's the foundation, that is the structure in which they are built as a relationship, I think things are going to be different. They're not going to be the same way as Abe and Aaron's relationship or as David and Sai's relationship. But again, single and sexy that I am, I'm going to let people do what they got to do relationship wise. But the question though, the question then became, if Pavitt doesn't wear a wedding ring, is it something to be alarmed by? And then Uba says, well, let me tell you something. When a man wears a wedding ring, that's like the first class. Speaking of first class, that's like the first class trip for like, some of the floozies to be drawn to these types of men or whatever. So I'm not going to weigh in on it. I'm just wondering what everyone thinks of wearing a wedding ring or not. I think it has to be a boundary that is set within who you are. I know many relationships and couples where there will be somebody who doesn't necessarily wear it. I not married. I don't really like, I don't really have stuff on my hands. So I guess if I got married, I would have to wear it. Right. I just think relationships are so different. People sadly get cheated on, but stay with the person, and everyone is different. Some are preserving the family, which I don't necessarily agree, but to each their own on how to do it. So I don't know, getting into her business, it really just opened up Jessel to be like the star of the show. I must say, Can I play real quick as we're going through this episode? Still one of the moments that was the funniest to me on this show. This moment is when I was like, Real Housewives of New York, new era, though it's not like the biggest buzz, it was still a good season. And early on, I think this was episode number 2. This is when I knew we got a good show going.
I'm so sorry. I don't want to be Debbie Downer here. My grandmother was 94, but it happened really fast. She went to hospice and she died within 24 hours. So it's still hard.
I didn't know, so
Yeah.
that's really unfortunate. I hope that today went well, though.
Yeah, it was fun.
Sai.
Oh my God, thank you.
As good as it can go. Yeah, I had so much fun. Thanks for asking. It was a great success and a dandy old time.
Still funny to me. Still funny. So there's a lot of talk throughout the episode. You know, we get a moment with Aaron and Sai, and this is when Aaron learns that Sai is starting to spill the beans, because the word that's going around is, well, did David say something a little inappropriate with the, you know, at Swingers when they were at the restaurant, the golf location? He was like, you know, you're so wonderful, Uba. You know, why are you not dating? And I think I said that on the last recap. I was like, I don't know if that's really the right comment, you know, because it does, and this would be for a man to a woman, or a woman to a man, or, you know, whatever relationship it is. It would be even to me. Ronnie, you're so amazing. Yes, thank you. I am. Why are you single? It's like, you can't you could be happy in your relationship and you could have the encouragement, because I do think David had the encouragement, and later in the episode he did apologize, which I thought was really wonderful. This is what we want to see. We want to see conversations. We want to see growth. We want to see growth. And I do think it was a little bit of a good intention with the, you know, oh, you're so amazing, Uba, but you're single. What's the problem? Like, it does look a little off, but I do like the way that it kind of backtracked and was, you know, David was very grown with that. I thought, and I didn't think Uba was that mad or whatever, but these were some of the words that were kind of going around, which accidentally, and I do believe it to be an accident, it gave Sai this accidental permission to abandon the secret, which is like, listen, Aaron, Uba's gonna be fine. In fact, she's with somebody right now. Oh, and it was so hard, yet so good to watch. As a fan of the show, you're like, no, you can't do that. But it was an accident. So you're like, totally like, oh my God, Sai did not do that on purpose, you know? And it was, I mean, we could get to, at the end of the episode, what we even think about her holding back the relationship. Actually, we'll talk about it now, because on Watch What Happens Live, you know, Jenna Lyons was on the episode with Julia Fox, which, by the way, Julia Fox was way more entertaining than I expected. I really only watched the episode for the great Jenna Lyons. And she made a comment that does make sense, but I still feel like I'm on not one side or the other within this, which is, well, when you choose to date, and Jenna, of course, has a lot to speak on because she's been publicly outed, you know, in a time. And, you know, it is important to protect and sort of preserve a relationship until you're willing to kind of take it to the next level. But on one hand, isn't that as much as, and this is what Jenna was sort of saying as Andy Cohen was asking about, what do you think about Uba keeping it kind of quiet? And so what I'm going to say is this, like, actually, I want to hear the other comments, really. But I feel like on one hand, you don't have to share everything. I think there's a notion, it's like, it's a reality TV, you got to show everything. No, you don't. You set a boundary. You treat you kind of like what Brynn was saying to Jessel. You teach people how to treat you. That may not always work, but you could at least have an intention. These are the kind of things I like to hold close to me. I think that's okay. When it comes to what Jenna was saying is like, listen, we sign up for the show, but the person we're dating doesn't. But I think, isn't that as much as like, everyone has, would it be called baggage, or would it be called baggage? But everyone has a thing. So like, you know, you choose to fall in love with who you fall in love with, and you have to make the assessment like, wow, I really love this person, but because they're on reality TV, maybe that's in my checklist. Maybe that's going to make them a little less appealing to me. And so I think I don't really know that I feel that much sympathy. If it's a new thing, maybe, but I don't really feel like I feel that much sympathy. Like I mean, it's like dating somebody who's aspiring to become a doctor, but the money hasn't really rolled in yet. Like you make the choice, like it's going to be hard times, but I'm going to rock out. We fall in love. And then down the road, things will go really wonderful. And, you know, he's got this beautiful mansion and we live a great life. It could be the opposite. He ain't got no money, but he got the good D, the good D. And you're like, well, I like the good D, but he can't take me to nowhere but McDonald's. It's all difficult. And I don't think as an excuse, but it's not an excuse, but I don't think as an excuse, boy, I'm really playing the fence today, aren't I? I don't think as an excuse you can utilize that. Like, oh, I signed up for the show, that other person didn't. The problem is if you signed up for the show, you now know that potentially some of your relationships have to be compromised. I think that's what it comes down to, meaning your pool might shrink. That's the same thing with visibility on all levels. The bigger you are, the more visible you are. There's different things that come with that. I do think, and I was having a podcast earlier where we were talking about a lot of like Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. I think there is a little level of sort of likeness works really well because that way we're all on the same page. So yeah, it is going to be tough. It's always going to be tough for like somebody in the public eye, like a Jenna or Uba in this case, and somebody not in the public eye. I guess ultimately I'm just really happy for Uba. So I guess I could look past a lot of that. And I don't want to be like, just have a bias like, yay, like Uba's happy. I'm actually really interested. Remember when she said, oh, Uba hot, tie the knot. I was like, is she going to get married in between seasons? Oh, I would live for that. I would live for like an Uba comes back episode 1. What's everyone been up to? Oh, I've been doing this. I've been doing this. Sai's going to say she's hangry. Brynn's going to be saying she's flirting with somebody. And Uba's going to be like, look it, I got married. Oh my God. Would that not make the most wonderful season 2 opener? So there's just a lot to think about. I think you are who you are. And the moment you choose to sign up for certain things, you know, things come with it. So I find it hard to have tons of sympathy for that, keeping it a secret. But we'll get to that because then it does kind of erupt later on because Brynn says it. And then, of course, Sai gets upset or whatnot. What else have we... what else goes on there? Oh, Brynn and Jenna do a little kiss. Oh, Jenna seems to not have a problem with it. I think it's a little, I don't know. It's a little annoying. I mean, if Jenna loves it and she's happy, then I guess we should all be happy. But it feels a little like, come on, Brynn. I don't know. Me personally, I'm not playing. I love my straight friends. I do. We have so much fun. We talk about everything under the sun, in and out, up and down, all around. But I would not want somebody to sort of be preying on, you know, I don't know. I guess it's difficult because in this case, Jenna is like, well, Brynn is so smoking hot. So like, of course I feel, you know, it's fun. I guess I've never really been in a situation like that. I just don't know that, like, I like my straight friends to be able to joke about stuff. I don't like, that's my own boundary. I'm like, nope, you know, don't, you know, no, go sit over there where the straight men are boring and talking about football or whatever. You know, it's just not going to work for me. For Jenna, it did particularly work, which was cool, I guess. Going forward, what else do we have in this moment? So the party game is Brynn saying we're gonna just all talk about a grievance that we have. So, you know, Pavitt does get, you know, he gets called out for calling Sai bipolar. Again, he ends up going to the confessional and saying, I do think if I called her a bitch, well, it's because she is one. That wasn't great, but at least in public with the group, and he did talk to David too, and he says, oh, men get over things a little bit quicker, which I don't know that they always do, but I do think it was good that he did retract it, and everyone was kind of in that space, and it was, I guess I didn't even realize how that would feel for Sai. You know, Sai doesn't really get too challenged in terms of like, you know, being triggered by this or that, but if that was something that her mom did suffer, I could see how that word would really cause a problem. But that game is so funny. That game is so funny. This is the game that we're going to play. We're going to play a game where we air out people's grievances. Anyways, the day goes on. Everything's fun and fine. We kind of get over it. There is a moment where Jessel kind of steps up and was like, you're not going to talk to me that way. Because again, Sai, after Pavitt sort of did walk it back, was like, well, your wife, she lies. And it's like, all I wanted to do as a viewer, and I'm sure everyone watching, with the remote control and the popcorn, I'm sure everybody was like, she don't owe it to any of you to tell you anything. Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, she's not lying to you. And the way that Aaron was hanging on every word, well, no, she said a date. It's like, she didn't say a date per se. She said, we're going to have a staycation, only because all of you kept saying, well, has it happened yet? Has it happened yet? All Jessel was trying to do was just, yeah, we're doing a staycation. Before he goes on this trip, it'll be fun. And then for some reason, they were like very tight to all of that stuff. So I don't know. Moving forward, this is really exciting, though. It's good to see the way Jessel kind of handled herself. You know what I mean? I don't love the way Brynn was very like, oh, well, you have to like stand for yourself. You have to fight for yourself. I don't really know, because teaching people how to treat you is wonderful, and I do think you should do it. But I necessarily don't think it always works. I try, believe me, I try. But sometimes people will act out of pocket. You'd still have to react in a certain way. I mean, the thing is, like, Brynn could teach everyone how to treat her, but somebody could just say something outlandish. That's, I mean, I get it. It's not like I don't get it. But for her to put that on Jessel, it's like Jessel could do everything correct, and Sai's still going to go and say, bah, 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 bah. This, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, and I'm angry. What can you do about that? Jessel really did. She did what was necessary. She said hello to be cordial. She walked away. They said, why didn't you say hello? She says, well, what's going on? Like, we're not, she really told them what's up. So the combination of the way she talked to them originally and the combination of the way she jumped and not jumped, but like spoke up after Pavitt got called out for what he got called out was great. And she walked away. She was dismissed. She was unbothered. I loved it. It felt like we were really getting somewhere. And it shows how funny this whole thing was, because at the end of the day, like, no one really cared. The parrot comes out. Aaron is dressed as a parrot because they did catch wind that Jessel called, oh, Sai's just your pet parrot, and she says everything you say. And it was so dumb, but it was great. Real Housewives, not even just Real Housewives of New York, just asinine, stupid Real Housewives of New York stuff that we love. And it did have them all sort of giggle and laugh. And I thought we were going to get to the end of it. And I thought that was the end of it. But it does kind of erupt in a certain way when all of a sudden Aaron, what's her name? Uba's on a call. You could tell she's going to talk to the person in about 20 minutes, but she is still trying to keep it quiet. Now, I said a couple things earlier about what I felt, but then there is the part of me that does have the compassion that, like, if it's not anything worth bringing up just right now, I do want to protect that. I know I spoke sort of sideways on another level with it, but in terms of how you could actually feel and you really care for Uba, you like, maybe the divorce is not final, the ink is not dry. Like, I don't know anything about this man, but what I'm saying is you could also have the compassion for her. Luckily, Uba didn't really take anything that bad, but the fact that, like, the chatter had been going around behind Uba's back was rough, because, Sai did admit to, like, accidentally saying it. And then there was the circle of trust because they went to go have the, drinks for Brynn's birthday. And Brynn kind of just put it out in Front Street for everybody. I think it could have escalated to a different degree if Uba, and maybe Uba is pissed. Maybe from the time it was being filmed till the time, the show's wrapped and then reunion. Maybe in the reunion, Uba's like, Sai, I'm going to tell you where to go and how to get there. You're responsible for that. But in this space, I think she wanted to just be above it, move on, get Uba hot to work. And it was really, to a higher level. And eventually, when the relationship gets tighter and stronger and on a deeper level and a deeper foundation, then to bring the guy around. And I think, like, at the end, it was beautiful because they always do the where are they now kind of moments. And it was like, oh, yeah, Mr. Connecticut, he has met some of the ladies. And so that's it. It really, what I thought about this episode is it really opened up what we didn't have before was backstory, because we're meeting everybody. And now we have a lot to go on. Like, I'm so interested in season 2. Like, season 1, I mean, obviously it's not season 1. Season 14, their season 1, we're just not, there's no investment really, because we don't know, who they knew or how they knew each other. Whereas like you would hear like, well, Dorinda was at this person's wedding and Sonia was supposed to be on season 1, but she didn't join till this. Or even like with the New Jersey, Teresa, Dolores was possibly going to be on season 1. And like, I've known these people for 15 years, 20 years. Like that's the stuff we were missing on this show. And even though it got rocky at the end there, everyone left Brynn's party, I think that it at least gave us a little bit of excitement towards, like, what was really magical is when Brynn says, next birthday, I'm going to be doing this. It gave you like, kind of like access to when people's birthdays are, when their anniversaries are. And you sort of look, it's as if we are now becoming friendly with these people and we want to see the best for them going forward. Anyways, I think that's all. Let me look at my notes. My fan just went off as I was talking, and I brought a bunch of photos and I didn't even click to any of them. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, they had their little kissy kiss, the eyes wide shut situation of it all. It was a good little party. I thought Brynn looked beautiful. Sai is ready to tell everybody, I didn't see it on camera. I just get so amped with these episodes. I can't actually believe that it is over. But yeah, our star for sure. Our breakout star, we should say, the one that talks about cackling hags and parrots, is good old Jessel Tank. What is the term? If you're a Jessel Tank fan, you are a tank top. Okay. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I do know, or it seems like the network is so happy with the show, but the fan base isn't like huge yet. But I do feel like going forward that it will be. As I said, my fan just went out. So if you want to support, you should do it. Patreon.com/randomly Ronnie Jr. More content, as you know, that I've been in and around the radio industry for several thousands of years. It feels like. So if you want to show some support, there's so many wonderful stories and pieces of content and perspective, and you can kind of learn a little bit more about like how and why I talk the way that I do when I do a recap. A lot of it is like being in this for such a long time. Sometimes it gets a little bit difficult to just jump on here and do episode number 12,000, 12,005. So I very proud that I was able to continue on and give a good show. I think it was a good show, but again, my fan went off mid-episode. So I'm over here like looking at my notes, wiping the sweat, and just trying to get through episode 14 of season 14, Real Housewives of New York. Again, my favorites, Jessel, just for the charm, for the deliciousness that is her wit and her charisma. Oh, she's just so wonderful. And Pavitt is also very adorable in a way. Jenna just being the boss that she is, the unbotheredness of it all. She's just like focused and she's doing what she needs to do. Uba hot she came in hot. Yes, she had the moment with the glasses, but like, for the most part, she gave a wonderful season. And at the end of the day, she sold, I'm coming in hot. And Erin, who has had, a little bit of ups and downs, I think Erin is still a wonderful housewife. I think she is beautiful. I love the relationship with Abe. Looks like they are maintaining a wonderful family. She comes from a big family. And it looks like at the end, I believe they stated she's got a mezcal line. So the drinks are going to be up. We're going to be drinking to Erin and this wonderful cast. Brynn was somebody who I felt like was a little too much like Leah in certain spaces, like resorting to, a vulgar joke or just kind of repetitive in ways. But Brynn really did come alive over the last couple of episodes, I think. And Sai maybe wasn't my favorite, but when I look at the whole season, Sai was necessary. Because we all can't just walk into a scene and be like, well, I don't care. I don't, it is what it is. Sai was saying, no, I got a problem with this and we're going to talk about it. So say what you want. Sai made herself important on this show. Do you agree? And Sai is wonderful. She had some really great scenes. The scene with her aunt was good. The scene even with her daughter was good. I think there's a lot of potential in the show. Anyways, write on the comments what you think. And for this moment, yeah, I guess that's the end. Okay, it is time for me to go. I'll talk to you on the next one. Okay, later.
Hey, Ronnie Jr.